Hi, are you participating in Dry January and looking for an alternative? Have you considered weed drinks? Yes, weed now comes in drink form. I'm Catherine Goldberg, and I'm the host of Senior Savvy Cannabis. If you're interested in cannabis for wellness and cannabis for optimization, then subscribe to this channel because you're going to hear some insights and some opinions that you won't hear anywhere else. And if you're back joining us, I'm glad you're back. This is a very special episode because dry January is a thing. People are abstaining from alcohol, yet they're looking for something that will help them calm down, where they can relax, they can put their feet up, something familiar. And weed drinks may offer an alternative. So in 2017, by the way, I was writing for High Times, and I wrote an article about predicting that weed drinks would be like the next big thing, right? There's no smell. Great. They come on instantly. Amazing. I figured, why would anyone be smoking joints if you could have a drink? And it really didn't catch on. And it didn't catch on for a couple reasons. And I want to talk about why I think it didn't catch on and what is happening now that may be different from last time. So if you're just like, wait, they make weed drinks, then yes, they make weed drinks. Yet the people who go to dispensaries to buy their weed, they're not buying the drinks. They're buying the flower, they're buying the oil, or they're buying the gummies. The drinks are just there. So I've always said that if these drinks could be sold at Whole Foods or any other place that maybe liquor or beverages for that matter is sold, then the barrier to entry would be so much lower, because instead of having to schlep to the dispensary and show your ID and buy one can of a seltzer plus 25% tax and then go home, that's like not efficient, right? You want like a 4-pack or an 8-pack or a 16-pack or whatever packs beer come in. So that's why I believe they really haven't taken off. Even though the drink high is actually quite nice. It's a lot more mild than smoking a joint, and it comes on a lot faster than eating an edible, and it doesn't last as long. And obviously, there are consequences to inhaling cannabis. A vaporizer is going to be safer than a joint, but some of us like smoking joints. So the beverages really offer a safe alternative. And the beverages also come in, obviously, variety of flavors, that's given, but they come in a variety of effects. So as we've mentioned on this podcast before, is that cannabis can make you sleepy and hungry, and other kinds of cannabis can give you energy and make you feel clear-headed and suppress your appetite, right? So it's the combination of cannabinoids plus terpenes that equal the effect. We're going to do a whole blog laying this out with a nice little chart for you so you can find the right weed for your specific thing. So anyway, so I noticed that some of these drinks actually come in effect. So there's that beer company Pabst, is that what it's called? That's how it's spelled. They have a line of cannabis seltzers that look fantastic. There's a day drinking, and it's guava flavored, I think, and it has THCV in it. And this is interesting because THCV, we talked about on the weight loss podcast. This is the cannabinoid that suppresses your appetite and gives you energy. So this is a very different sounding high than, let's say, eating a brownie and passing out in the couch. So that's pretty cool. There are tons of brands making the drinks. One problem I have with many of the drinks is that a lot of us are using cannabis for our mood, to keep up our mental health. And we all know that sugar causes an inflammatory response, and inflammation, is linked to depression. And we have to be mindful of our sugar consumption. And I think that, I'm not going to say the mistake I think a lot of these brands are making, because there is a market for them, I guess. But a lot of these weed drinks are like soda. And like, I don't want to drink a grape soda in general, much less every day. I don't want to drink like a strawberry pop that has 46 grams of sugar. So I think a lot of these beverage companies have realized that, I guess there are just two sides to it, right? We have the weed sodas, which are fun in their own way. And then we have the weed seltzers. And I think the weed seltzers are where like the soccer moms are going, where the mother-in-laws are going, where people who are not willing to smoke a joint, but are curious about the effects and perhaps benefits of cannabis, they're willing to have a drink. And just an anecdote, as many of you know, I run this company, Weed Bar LA. We bring the weed bar to weddings and birthday parties. And our most popular offering are drinks, because there's no smell and the high is delightful. I keep the drinks microdosed at 2.5 milligrams each. That is a very low dose. And we have people come up to us and say, how will I feel? And I say, like, you'll feel good, but drink it and come back in 30 minutes and tell me. And they always say, like, I don't feel anything. I just feel really good. And with 2.5 milligrams, that's what you're going for. And of course, people come back for thirds and fourths and fifths. And the drinks come in a variety of, from 2.5 milligrams up to the early drinks back in 2017. The whole bottle used to be 100 milligrams. And the drinks tasted good. And you can do the math and figure out that that is not a good idea. No one wants to be that impaired from a cannabis beverage. Just something to think about. However, I'll say that with a grain of salt, because there are people who, for medical reasons, have very, very, very high tolerances. And perhaps also they're looking for an alternative to oils and concentrates that's safer, that's stronger. And maybe those 100 milligram lemonades actually could do them a world of good. So I'm not going to judge them. I'm just going to say it was too strong for me. And the thing with weed drinks, weed seltzers, all of this, is that they're not just in California, and they're not just in places with legal cannabis. Because you may have noticed, if you've gone to like any wine store in the South or even Whole Foods, you can buy weed drinks and they say cannabis on the label, and they say they have 2.5 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of THC, and they say on the label they are hemp-derived. So I just want to explain this real fast, because I'm sure people are curious about it. What is happening? So are these brands that have products in, let's say, a dispensary in California and a shop in North Carolina, are they the same product? Not exactly. So the products in California and in legal markets, the cannabis is derived from the female plant, not the industrial hemp male plant. The female plant has more medicinal benefits because of the components it's made out of. You have terpenes, you have cannabinoids working together. This is where I think a lot of the healing properties come from. With the beverages that are being sold everywhere else, yes, it's THC, and THC is THC. However, THC without the terpenes and without whatever minor cannabinoids they're adding in, I would predict, and I haven't tried it, but I would predict that it's not as rich of a high of a sensory experience, that maybe there's some mood lifting and maybe some pain reducing, very like good things. There's no reason not to try these. But I would speculate that if I, like, for example, Artet, great brand, they have drinks in California and they have drinks in North Carolina. I think they produce two different highs, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe it's going to take the soccer moms in North Carolina drinking Artet at night instead of their normal glass of wine to be like, oh, we should have cannabis here. So that's what I have to say about drinks. I was genuinely surprised that they haven't caught on, but I think it's because you must go to a dispensary to buy them. And that's honestly sometimes a pain. And it's cost prohibitive. So until that gets worked out, I don't think weed drinks are really going to be like mainstream. I think they're catching on, but we're not there yet. And just a final note for, let's say you're a daily cannabis consumer and you like this idea of not having to smoke, there's no smell, but like you don't want to purchase a can of seltzer every single day for, like that's going to add up. In that case, I would suggest getting a tincture. They have water soluble tinctures, and we can put a link to the one I use. And you can just put a drop of it in any beverage at all, coffee, tea, whatever. You mix it in, there's no flavor, there's no sugar, and then you get all the benefits. I realize that this is like not necessarily like a beginner friendly thing, because the little bottles do contain like 1,000 milligrams of THC. So you have to be super, super careful that you only put in a teeny drop. But there are options. And I think we're unfortunately going to start learning about more of the risks that come with inhalation, particularly of like real combustion, like joints and pipes and bongs and whatnot. Vaporizers are safer because they burn at a lower temperature, and that preserves the terpenes and the cannabinoids, which are the parts of the cannabis that are going to like do the healing. So I think there are a lot of ways to look at this. We're moving in the right direction. I'm thrilled that the drinks taste good. I think you should check them out. Have you checked them out? Have you had one? Tell me in the comments. And please subscribe for more cannabis insights and just new ways of thinking about health and wellness in perhaps a way that hasn't occurred to you yet. So thank you for listening, and check out the daily blog. I'll link to that as well. Everything is free. And if you have any further questions, you can sign up for a free 15-minute consult with me, and we can talk one-on-one about your specific goals and how to reach them. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.